Now, if you've listened to this show for very long, you've heard this question. Dave, what's wrong with using a credit card if I pay it off at the end of the month? Because I get my points and I get my airline miles. That's what most people do, Dave. What's wrong with that? Well, to start with, most people are broke, so you really don't want to emulate most people. 70% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. They look good and they're freaking broke. But what we've discovered over the years is simply this. Personal finance is 80% behavior. You have to manage behavior if you're going to be wealthy. It's only 20% head knowledge. And when you spend cash, $100 bills, Uncle Benjamin Franklin's smiling face looking at you as you make an expenditure, it activates the pain centers of the brain. You have an ouchie moment when you spend cash. When you use plastic, you do not have that ouchie moment. It does not activate the pain centers of the brain, and the results are very clear. When you spend with plastic, a credit card is the worst. The next worst is a debit card, and then cash. You spend more, and depending on the category, you may spend a lot more when you use plastic. McDonald's found this out years ago. That's why they started taking plastic, and now all fast food takes plastic. And it wasn't for the convenience of the customer. It's because you spend more. New study out today, Apple Pay branding on vending machines increases mobile payment usage 135% and overall sales by 36%. Results of a new 6-month study by a company offering Apple Pay on vending machines shows that branding specific to Apple Pay helped increase mobile transactions and overall sales. The study offers evidence that Apple Pay messaging on the machines resulted in an increase of mobile transactions by as much as 135%, while transactions in general were up 44% and overall sales up 36%. The vending machines with an increased transactions used language specific to Apple's payment service, prompting users to pay with your favorite card using Apple Pay. Another 130 machines in a control group used a more generic text that simply read, ready, swipe, or tap now. 36% increase in overall sales, 44% increase in total transactions. That's huge. Most businesses would do anything to get a 3%, not a 44%. The company published USAT, tracked the sales on 35 of its vending machines using Apple Pay. And here's their quote. Based on our study, we believe that when businesses and operators present customers with the option to pay for items with Apple Pay, the number of mobile payments made and the amount spent increases, said the Senior Vice President of Marketing and Sales. The numbers provide evidence that negative seasonality trends may be tempered and even reversed by telling customers they have an option to pay with Apple Pay. So what's happened here? Is Apple Pay evil? No, Apple Pay is not evil. They just took out all the friction. The easier you make it for someone to buy when you're in business, the more they will buy and the more they will spend when they buy. And you as a consumer are just like, oh, well, that was convenient. That was easy. I mean, think about Amazon Prime. You just hit the button, baby. You have absolutely no friction there. You instantly are spending more, and suddenly crap's being delivered to your door. I had a friend of mine kept getting odd things delivered to his door, and he finally figured out his toddler had gotten a hold of the Amazon button and was just hitting the button. And like they had 6 cases of toilet paper show up because it was all tied to the Amazon Prime, the button that they've got. It's all about how easy it is to buy something. Now, I like convenience as much as the next person. I do not walk into the gas station and pay cash for my gas anymore. I did when I was broke because I wanted to have the exercise of realizing I just purchased $50 freaking of gasoline. And I wanted to see the $50 leave my hand, and it made me think then about what I was doing. But I paid at the pump this morning with a debit card. And I do. But you don't realize, I honestly, I cannot tell you what I paid for the gasoline this morning. I didn't even look. because I can afford it, number one. But number two, there was no friction. There was no sense of, I just had money leave my life. And gas prices are down, so I'm not appalled or shocked at the cost to fill up my car right now, and you aren't either. And so the problem is not an Apple Pay. The problem is not the credit card. The problem is you. The problem is me. Our response to these low-friction methodologies is that we increase our spending, and we increase the number of transactions. So while Amazon Prime's not evil, and Apple Pay is not evil, and I'm actually a customer of both, so I'm not telling you to not do that. I am telling you out loud and warning you that the studies show you spend more when you don't realize you're spending because of the method that you use to pay. When it does not register that you have had money leave your life. And so a good exercise is just to carry some cash and pay things with cash, and it reminds you what you are spending. I mean, when you go out to eat and you lay a credit card in that little black folder, you lay a debit card in that little black folder, you don't even register what you spent on the food. I had a nice dinner with some friends last night, and we spent a pretty good-sized coin. I happen to remember that amount because it was large enough that it shocked me, and it drilled down into my psyche. It was paid with the business debit card because it was a business dinner. Some friends and I were working on a business thing. But just the same, you register the pain of the expenditure and you spend less. You don't register the pain of the expenditure, you spend more and you purchase more. And that's why this mythology of, it's harmless for me to use my credit card because I pay it off every month. No, you spend more when you use a credit card than versus cash. And so it is not a harmless it's not a revenue neutral comparison, meaning that you can't compare and say, well, it's money I would have spent anyway. No, you spend more. And this latest Apple Pay study illustrates that when there's low friction, when you don't feel the expenditure, you spend more. In this case, on a vending machine, 135% increase in overall mobile payment usage. That's a bizarre increase. This is the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, click the subscribe button to get the latest content and check out these other great clips from the show.